backing Diddy up.
Jay's definitely.
Jay helped you?
Yeah.
How did he
As a
help
competitor.
you? Explain it.
Yeah, because he never was someone that you communicate with that you're like friends with the person. But I always respected him because he was never an actual competitor in actual fact. He was someone who was a competitor to perception.
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer. For Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z.
And B was, one time she jumped off of the ledge and running over because she thought me and Jay had issues. And I was like, did she really just jump down and run over here like
Beyoncé jumped off a ledge.
what happened? She's a cosmopolitan, huh?
She really a superhero.
She jumped down and no, she was like, this what? Like that Bonnie and Clyde for real. You try this or what, boy? I'm here. Word. Kind of like at me. She looked, I said,
Was Solange with her?
she looked at me like that. I was like, what?
A new storm is building, one that brings together old rumors, recent scandals, and accusations many believed had long faded. At the center stands 50 Cent, a figure who has spent years publicly challenging individuals he believes are protected by industry power. One of those names has consistently been Diddy, but now, according to 50, the story may extend beyond a single mogul. This time, he's suggesting that the next wave of scrutiny could reach figures like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Oprah Winfrey, three of the most influential names in entertainment. These are individuals who have appeared in speculation before, but rarely have they been referenced so directly in this context. The moment escalated when 50 Cent hinted he may possess new footage connected to the same inner circles linked to the Diddy controversy. He suggested that the documentary focused on Diddy could be only the beginning, followed by a short message that quickly went viral. "You're next." Fans immediately began speculating, with many assuming the message was directed at Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Questions followed just as fast. Why them? Why now? And why immediately after the documentary's release? Some observers point to long-discussed industry connections, circles shaped by business ventures, exclusive events, and overlapping networks of influence. When the Netflix documentary on Diddy premiered, viewers noted how closely his professional and social circles intersected with others in the industry, from ventures tied to Roc Nation to appearances at major events. Many of the same names appeared repeatedly. Now, 50 Cent appears to be signaling that proximity alone may no longer shield anyone from renewed scrutiny, as past footage, claims, and narratives are being revisited under a more intense spotlight. If his implications hold weight, this could be just the beginning of a much broader conversation.
Were private conversations, and that he and Diddy could talk openly, and Mark could talk to Diddy not just as a client but as a person, and tried to guide him in a time leading up to his arrest. And unbeknownst to Mark Agnifilo, Diddy has got this guy recording the conversation as he's sitting there saying, "You are screwing this up, you are messing up this case, we're losing." And knowing that that's on tape, and it's almost like he's performing for the camera and not telling Mark what's going on. And the really enraging part about it is that Mark Agnifilo won this case for Diddy with legal strategy. It wasn't just an accident that this jury that had heard all of this in the news before the trial voted not guilty on all the serious charges. It was Mark Agnifilo that did that. Yet Diddy secretly records this guy and embarrasses him. And yeah, you could say, well, Diddy never expected that it would end up being broadcast somewhere else. Well, okay, but Diddy was planning on using it, or he wouldn't have had it recorded in the first place. So it's just really, really unfair. And I know that in a way this sounds crazy, that I'm getting so upset about Diddy, and yet there's video of Diddy beating Cassie. Well, that's horrendous, but that doesn't mean you can't look at something else as well. And I just think, as a lawyer, I just think this is just so outrageous that he would do something like this, and not even understanding what Agnifalo's legal theory was. Because I will tell you that when we did our first documentary on Diddy, which was 8 months before the trial, Mark Agnifalo said to me on camera that he is going to tell this jury that this was a successful black man that prosecutors were trying to take down because they couldn't get into his bank accounts because they were clean, and he couldn't deal with tax. They couldn't deal with taxes because he wasn't committing tax fraud. So they go into his bedroom, and that's what Mark Agnifalo said 8 months before. And he goes into the trial, and he essentially wins that argument. Whether you believe it or not, a jury that sat through the whole thing, they believed it, and ultimately they convicted him on this BS Mann Act thing. So Diddy won that case. And one of the reasons he won the case is something that Agnifalo got criticized for. That when he did the documentary with me, he was making a joke about the baby oil. Remember, he said, oh, well, you know, I didn't know he bought in bulk. He must have bought 1,000 bottles at Costco. And a lot of people just slammed him for that and said, how dare you? You're being disrespectful. The baby oil is the smoking gun in this case. Agnifalo knew all along that the baby oil was Diddy's best defense, because when Agnifalo got before that jury in closing argument, he looked at them and he said, well, the feds came in with their armor and artillery and guns, and what did they do? They got 1,000 bottles of baby oil off the streets. Ooh, he said, the streets are safer now, and the jury laughed, and that laugh told Agnifalo he should keep going on that, and that the trial itself was absurd because the baby oil was...
The years passed. Jay-Z continued aligning with some of the most influential figures in entertainment, including Diddy, Oprah Winfrey, and major media and corporate leaders. Whenever 50 Cent believed something was being overlooked or protected, he responded in his signature style through sarcasm, public criticism, and strategically timed social media posts. But this time felt different. For the first time, 50 appeared to directly warn Jay-Z, suggesting he may have access to footage or material that could impact Beyoncé and the broader Carter circle. Fans quickly picked up on the shift in tone. That's largely because 50 has built a reputation for following through when he hints at having documents, recordings, or inside information, fueling intense online speculation. This is also where Oprah's name entered the conversation. Many began questioning why Oprah was being mentioned alongside Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and figures connected to Diddy. Part of the answer lies in resurfaced criticisms and 50 Cent's long-standing public disagreements with her. Over the years, he has accused Oprah of being selective in how she uses her platform, arguing that certain figures received more scrutiny than others. He has pointed to her involvement in discussions around R. Kelly, contrasting it with her past association with Harvey Weinstein. On a personal level, 50 has also referenced the fact that Oprah declined to interview him, something he has publicly mentioned more than once to his supporters. That history helps explain why her name is now being pulled into the broader narrative, and why some believe the situation could extend beyond a single individual. It sits on someone new. After the Diddy Netflix documentary, if you aren't aware, 50 Cent has been getting insane feedback from the Netflix documentary he made on Diddy, Sean Combs' The Reckoning. It's #1 all over Netflix, beating even Stranger Things. Diddy himself has responded to it, saying the stories are false. Of course, denying everything, and even trying to do a cease and desist on the Netflix documentary. After this Diddy documentary, a lot of people have been wondering who's the next person that deserves to get exposed. And Jay-Z is the one that a lot of people are pointing their finger at. The reason Jay-Z's been getting a lot of this backlash is because Jay-Z was really close to Diddy. At one point, Diddy was even calling him his brother and saying Jay-Z's the only one that can call him his real name, Sean. That maybe there's something on Jay-Z's side that has been going on behind the scenes. Now, there hasn't been any solid proof yet, but Nicki Minaj has been going at Jay-Z for quite some time, talking about Jay-Z is manipulative, and he steals, and he's been pushing a narrative, and that Roc Nation has control and power over a lot of things. I can kind of understand where she's coming from to a certain extent. We got to remember when Jay-Z went up on the Grammy stage and said Beyoncé never won Album of the Year and complained about that. Literally the following year, Beyoncé wins Album of the Year. If that doesn't show you that there is some power going on there, that there is something behind the scenes that Jay-Z controls, it's clear as day that it's all politics on who wins Grammys, who gets the better light and things. So that kind of opened my eyes as to Roc Nation's power and how they manipulate things in the media. I'll never forget, Jay-Z would get this special treatment all the time when it comes to the media. I mean, Hot 97, when they interviewed Jay-Z, they literally rolled out a red carpet. They never did that for any other artist. Jay-Z's always had this kind of special treatment when it came to things. But now the question is Jay-Z involved in crazier things? There's been a lot of speculation in a lot of different ways, and people are pointing their attention toward 50 Cent, wanting him to do a Jay-Z documentary. It looks like he might actually do it, because on Instagram, he posted a drawing of Jay-Z that kind of makes fun of his looks, and he posted that photo.